So you're coming to Tasmania for a visit. Just filling you in on the current state of things. I'm Ellie, this is Jeff, and
Hello.
we are the team at Canada Tourists, and today's video is from our back porch. And
Back porch?
yep, it's from the back porch, which, given that travel is the way it is now, it's pretty unfortunate that we're actually sitting here because we haven't really teamed up a trip, but we've got one coming back soon. We've got one coming up soon, so we're looking forward to that. So we thought we'd take some time to talk about a few things that I've heard and seen online, and that Jeff's heard and seen online over the last few weeks, for people who have visited here, either visited here or they're planning to make a visit. So we're going to be chatting about campervanning around Tasmania currently, camping, hotel stays, restaurants and bookings, and
Maybe a bit of weather.
tourist destinations, maybe what to pack when it's going to blow up like this in the afternoon. Yeah, it's been interesting, the weather down here too. So would you say, Jeff, that we've planned our trips in the past?
Not usually.
No.
No, we don't usually plan. We're fly by the seat of the pants people.
Yep.
And let me tell you, with overseas travel not being allowed at the moment, everyone's seeing Tasmania as overseas.
We'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay, shut up,
Do you have a
Jeff.
script?
Shut up, Jeff.
I mean, we've never really planned our trips in advance. We might have just booked in an accommodation, so we actually had somewhere to stay when we first got there. A lot of the times we've just driven around and pulled into a town and just to see if we can get an accommodation for the night. I've never written an itinerary for a trip in my life, but I can tell you that this next trip that we're going to go on, I have. So for the first time in my life, I'm actually written an itinerary. So
Why is that, El?
well, there's a lot of reasons for that. So this video isn't about discouraging you from coming to Tasmania, because if you have not been here before, you must come down and visit us. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of our country, or part of the world if you're from different other areas of the world.
Well, they're not
You
coming
should.
here.
No, well that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, scratch that.
Yeah.
Only for the mainlanders. Okay?
Well, that is another country.
It's another country according to the people down here.
If you're coming from another country, you're called Australia.
So I guess the big theme in this video is plan ahead.
Yeah.
That is just one of the main things. And it's not only true for us living here locally, because our trip coming up that I've booked and made an itinerary for the first time in my life is in Tasmania, where we live. So if you're coming and from interstate, then you definitely need to plan ahead. And that's really important. For us, we can just get in the car and come home if things turn. If you're coming from interstate, you've got a flight and you've got a trip on a Spirit, depending on either way you come here to get back, and that's a lot more difficult.
Can I tell a story?
Yep, go for it.
I know several people so far who've come to Tasmania because they can't travel anywhere. They've come down here, they haven't booked a car, they haven't booked a camper van, they've got down here, they can't get one. Every single car in Hobart is booked out, and it has been since probably Christmas. Camper vans are all booked out. You can't get it. You can't even get a caravan spot
No.
in a camp.
When COVID was on, we used to go for drives past the airport, and I reckon there would have been hundreds and hundreds of cars sitting in that car park.
7, 8.
And the camper vans were just piled on top of one another.
No, well,
pretty much.
That's silly.
And nothing was being hired out. Absolutely nothing at all. They could basically give them away.
Yes.
We were worried that they're actually going to start selling them off because this business was going so slow.
Yes.
And then since they opened up the interstate borders, those car parks have been absolutely emptied. There's no camper vans in the big car parks they have down at the airport, and there's no hire cars down there either. And that's even during those weeks when it's not school holidays. School holidays would make it 10 times worse, I think. So,
And be prepared to pay if you're going to hire one.
yeah,
Ooh.
a hire car per day.
Ooh.
What was it? Somebody said they paid.
Oh, it was $2,000 for 6 days or something.
Yeah, that was for the camper van.
No,
but
that was for a car.
for a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, $350 a day. I think someone even said right at the peak time they had to pay $500 for the day.
Yeah. Some people are actually buying cars. They come down here instead of hiring a
Nice.
car, they're buying a car and then selling it when they leave, or leaving with someone.
And that's driven up the price of a second-hand car down here. You can't pick up a second-hand car. If you want to hire a van or a car, you have to book ahead. Don't just turn up at the airport and think that it's right. No, it's just like Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane. Just go in, grab yourself a car. No. We're 4 gates.
Yeah, but they're all the same area. 4 gates. But they've just got 2 different doors.
Yeah, that's it. And it's one sliding door for 2 on one end and one sliding door for 2 on the other.
Sounds like you're bagging the airport.
I'm not bagging the airport. They're done at the airport. They've done a great job. I'm just saying it's not like you'd expect. We are a capital city, but it's nothing like you would expect.
Just book your car, all right? That's all we're saying. Book your car. Book your camper van. Do some work.
Now, I think that because the reason why there's so many camper vans and trailers and things, camper vans and caravans and everything like that, is that during COVID and when we all really started to understand that, hey, you know what, international travel might be a bit out of reach for a few years. I think everyone started to realise their dream of grabbing themselves a camper van or caravan and then starting to travel around Australia, which was still quite within our limits. And that has had a significant impact probably on the states that you live in, but definitely down here as well, because even the caravan retailers and camper van retailers down here
9 months.
ran out of stock.
9 months.
So
a new caravan, 9 months.
Yep, 9 months wait. And that means everyone here in Tassie has picked up all their camp gear and all their camper vans, and they're all vying for the same spots that people are.
And they're all
they come here.
They're all travelling the state because Tasmanians don't want to leave the state.
No.
Because
We're happy here.
We're happy Tasmanians.
We're just checking out the local scenery until it's safe to go across, and we know that we're not going to get over onto the mainland of Australia and get stuck there for 2 weeks. We have to quarantine back here for 2 weeks, so we have to suddenly go home within 24 hours.
The border's shut, quick, get home.
So,
especially when you're towing a caravan.
So that being said, then there are more vehicles looking for spots than ever before. They're getting filled up by Tasmanians really fast who are local and actually know that you need to get there early, so it doesn't leave a lot for people who are travelling with their vans.
Say for example, Easter coming up, Al, you need to get to your spot 3 to 4 days before.
If you don't get there tomorrow, you have to be there at least 3 or 4 days early. Forget it.
Shazam.
It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
There are groups actually lobbying our government to try and open up some more land and some more spots to put in parks and places for caravans to go, but anything down here, it always takes time. They've been talking about cable cars, I heard the other day, for the last 50 years, so more land for camper vans and caravans, probably in 2035, 2040 something.
Just plan your trip. Is that right?
Yeah. Now, yes, plan. And more importantly, book. If you're going to stay in a caravan park, ring ahead and book your spot.
Weeks in
advance. If you are going to stay at a national park or you're intending to do that, at least try and ring through and talk to the caretaker or the ranger and find out how busy it is. You can't book, but you could actually find out how busy it might be, give you an indication of whether or not to make the trip there, because often they're out in regions which take a little bit of travel. And free camping spots, you can try, but be prepared for some disappointment, because you might not necessarily be able to get a spot there either. If you know someone here's got land, great. I mean, you're on a winner.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Otherwise, you might find yourself sleeping in the car park of Walmart. Or in another Walmart.
The caravan parks and free spots in national parks are even more impacted, depending on where you're going to stay as well. Where our trips planned for up around the north and northwest of the state, and because of the smaller communities and the size of the facilities there, that it makes that looking for spots and places to stay just that little bit harder, only because of the rural element of that, not anything else.
Well, I travel around the state for work. I've never had to pre-book before. Now I can't get anywhere because I don't know where I'm going to stop some nights, and I ring around trying to find a place, and they're all booked out. Anyway, that's just what he said.
Whilst on the topic of booking ahead, if you're looking at hotels and Airbnbs, it's a good idea to make sure that you have those pre-booked as well. During COVID, a lot of people who had Airbnbs, knowing that they weren't going to get the income that they would expect from those, put them back onto the rental market, which reduced the amount of Airbnbs that were about for people to stay in. So that made a bit of an impact there. And hotels the same. The very first weekend that we're going away for our trip, we rang through, and it's in Launceston, and we were down to like the scrape. We actually have to stay above a pub, in one of the rooms above a pub when we go up there, and I booked 4 weeks in advance. So it just goes to show that, you know, even if you're planning on having a car and driving around and just staying in hotels and stays, you need to make sure that you book there as well. Otherwise you might find that you're not left with a lot. Last holidays when we went on our trip, we actually thought for a moment that we'd have to sleep in the back of our car.
What was that?
That was heading down the west coast into Strawn. We thought, oh, maybe they don't have anywhere.
I never thought that.
Yeah. Of course you didn't.
I never thought that at all.
Or I thought we had a long drive home. That was about a 5-hour drive back over. So last trip it was also the travel voucher scheme. I don't know whether those travel vouchers are still valid.
Is that a scheme or a scam?
Probably a bit of both. Probably a bit of both.
You know why? Because so many people who got them didn't spend them. And here we are. We were out spending top dollar.
I think it was the thrill of getting online and trying to win one.
A barter.
And yeah. But yeah, we could have used it over and over again. Still on bookings. It's all about bookings.
Back to the topic.
Still on bookings. If we're looking at restaurants, that's an interesting one as well, because with COVID and the restrictions to how many people you have in a restaurant, the idea of just walking in now is actually become a challenge down here. Not always possible. We found this out when we went to Salamanca recently, and we sort of called into a couple of different places and were knocked back, and there was only the 2 of us. If we were in a group, forget that.
Forget that.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to provide 4 to 6 or 8 people seating.
Or 10 or 12.
So, and particularly in the popular ones, because I'm just thinking like for places like D'Angelo's, for instance, they're sometimes booked out 2 weeks ahead. Like you ring up and you say, I have a booking for next Friday, and it's like a week out, and they say, oh no, sorry, we don't have any bookings till the end of the month. So again, if you are pre-planning months ahead and you want to go to a particular restaurant, you might have seen a review, make sure you book it.
Do you know, it's not just restaurants, it's not just that, it's everything. Like even if you want to get a car service, you're looking like a month and a half to get to see a mechanic. If you want someone to come and build something on your house or do something, you look 3, 4, 5 months. Everything is just, just so important.
When they can't get you in, they'll say, if you just wait 10 minutes, and then they'll shuffle you in, but you usually get like right next to the door or huddled up in a corner somewhere where they can manage to shove 2 stools together.
But in saying that, don't think you're not going to come down here and be able to get into a restaurant, because there are plenty of places you can still walk into and get good food.
It's all around those real popular
Salamanca.
spots. Yeah, Salamanca and around, or some of those ones that get good reviews.
North
online.
Hobart.
Yeah,
you need to book into the fancy and
do.
The busy restaurants.
One of the places that you really must book ahead is Cradle Mountain. If you want to go, if you can drive, you can sort of stay outside and drive there and then do the walks. But if you're actually wanting to stay there, that's one that needs to be booked.
Yeah, winter used to be okay. You could get in at winter. But
winter used to be okay down here. It was actually really quiet. The tourism season was usually over, and then you'd be able to go out and about and do the camping and the travelling. And we've found that's really changed over the last probably several years. More and more people are coming down now during winter, which is fine, but yeah, it just makes it, don't expect that, it's winter time, no one's going to be about, because that's not true anymore either.
But if you do come to camp in winter time, be prepared. It's cold. There's no doubt about it. It's cold.
Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about is just some research before you come down.
Yeah.
I would never normally recommend this. I never normally recommend doing some research about going on a trip, that you just sort of wing it and have fun and be spontaneous. I love that part about travelling.
Yes.
But
you've turned into a bit of a scientist, haven't you? Because you like researching things.
And the reason for that is I was looking around, because obviously I want to film parts of the next trip and put it up on the channel for you to see. But when I was going through and I was looking for things to do in each of these areas, and I started to look into those, a lot of them are closed. They might not be available Monday, Tuesday, they might not be doing tours anymore, they might be closed over the weekends. So it's really a good idea, if you've got places that you want to go to, you don't have to book, but just check ahead and make sure that they're actually open on the days they might be in that particular region of Tasmania, because you might actually miss out on some of those. For instance, like I wanted to go to Woomers and I wanted to go to Interstate. Neither of those are available earlier in the week. I couldn't do a Bogues brewery tour on a Monday or a Tuesday. I think that they don't do them during those times.
No big loss there. Anyway.
But yeah, so there's things that you will need to check, and it's worth just getting online, typing the name of the place if there's a few things that you want to see, and just making sure that you're able to get in and see those as well. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
4 and 4 is 8.
I hope that this video has been useful.
If you like what she's doing, please like and subscribe.
If you don't like what he's doing, please like and subscribe.
Press the button.
I'll get rid of him.
Press the button. It'll notify you when there's a new video. And yeah, have a look at some of the other stuff she's done, because you're doing an alright job.
No,
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and don't forget, make sure you leave any comments or questions down below, and we might see you again on the back porch.
There's an old man on the back porch, old man on the back porch, old man on the back porch, and that old man is me.